Now then, everybody, welcome back again to another Potty Mouth Garden Club. We are here in northeast of England. We've had 3 days now of this hot weather. You know, last week, yous had it down, Jesse Jaber, yous had it down there kind of sweltering. And that was like, I was like the lonely offspring, didn't have it. But it's just, and it's cloudy as well. Do you know what I mean? But it's just sweltering heat. So, JB, how are you doing anyways? Are you good?
Pretty good, yeah. Not quite as tired as I have been. Work has been as intense as ever, but feeling pretty good. Recently, where I've been really busy with work, it tends to get to the weekend, and then it's like normally 2 kind of 8-hour days on the allotment, trying to keep up with everything, trying to do all the stuff I haven't done throughout the week. And this weekend I took it a bit easy. I was only up there for a few hours each day, so feeling a bit more relaxed.
Mind you, my sleep pattern at the moment is shocking. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
oh really?
It's just, and I think it's like when I was working, I knew I had to get up, so I get as much sleeping. But now I get up. You know what I mean? But I'm picking 3:30 for 3 days in a row. It's 3:30, and I'm sitting lying, fighting it till 5 because I know 5 o'clock is like. Everyone's doing the Tim Cook from Apple does 5 o'clock. It's the right thing that you know what I mean. It's the new 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And come by 10 o'clock, I'm having a nana nap on the settee watching House of Dragons. I slept right through the final one of House of Dragons, missed it. So I've got to watch it again. I'm all over the shop, and I'm hoping because I've had 2 weeks of kind of Melanie being in Japan. She's back tonight. Well, I've had the marigolds on, and I've never stopped. So I'm hoping that's knackered for the night, and I can just kind of... Anyway, I'm just, Jess, how are you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah. I'm just picturing the whole getting up at 3:30 thing. It's not really doing it for me. It's like going to bed at 3:30 is fine, but
exactly.
No.
Oh my
God.
See,
I'm thinking that if Melanie comes back and you're getting out of bed at 3:30 disturbing her, she's not going to be happy, Bunny Rabbit.
I know. Right. She's going to be wrecked as well because it's like, I think it's like 9 hours. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at my phone, checking emails at 3:30 in the morning, trying to be quiet. So,
my.
Jess, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you. Audrey?
Yes.
Didn't we get it on Friday? Me and you got it on Friday, and I swear that.
That's a way to put it. Absolutely.
Audrey let me into a dark secret.
How long's Melanie been away?
I know.
Good job, she's coming back. No, Audrey was kind enough to spill the beans on our red sauce, which was lovely, and we did it in Period, and the stuffed jalapenos, Audrey. I did them last night.
Yeah?
Hey,
how'd you like it?
That's the first time I've done it. Yes, lovely. And I got it worked.
Nice.
And I left seeds in as well. I left seeds in and I was all right. Mm-hmm. It was all right. It was
good.
And it was the first time, when you see people, when they eat a hot chili and then they go, I can feel the sweetness. I can feel the fruit. I'm getting fruit. I got that fruit taste before then I made a mild heat. Kicked in. That's because normally I go on a hot one. You know what I mean? But I've got this kind of fruity flavour. So
good. Well, that's because you're only at a jalapeno. That's good.
And I froze some, like you said, as well, Audrey. So
good.
They're in the freezer. Oh, yes. So thank you very much for that. Yes. How are you anyways, Audrey? Are you good? Are you well?
I'm good. I slept in a little bit today, so I'm still kind of getting with the game. And it's really bright, so I'm trying really hard to...
Been up for bloody hours, man. Hours.
Yeah, it is so bright outside right now.
Normally, mind you, Audrey, it's funny because when I'm up dead early, Audrey's up dead late.
I was going to say, last night, I think it was 3 o'clock when I went to bed. So you're just getting up.
It's terrible.
I'm getting up at 3, 4 o'clock. You're just going to bed. What the hell is wrong with you, man?
I'm a night owl, and it's getting worse. So I'm thinking maybe if I just keep doing this, my clock will completely reverse. I'll just keep going forward until it's like a normal clock again.
You're getting on the hour time zone, Audrey. So you might as well just, you know what I mean? You're British.
Which will make travel over there so much easier for me. Yes.
So,
yeah,
anybody
I don't
else
know what it
getting like that? Has anyone got the heat? Are you still hot down? Because I know Jess JB used last week. You were like, it was spoiled down there. It was red hot for you. Is it?
It's not as hot. It's about 28-ish.
That's what ours is today.
That's still
yeah, but it's so muggy. It's like you sit still and the heat doesn't feel that bad, and you get up to do something and you're drenched. Like it's like the ambient temperature is not that high, but yeah, the humidity is ridiculous.
Oh, humidity is the worst.
It's much nicer on the coast. A nice 23 today.
Oh,
so we had like 2 days of 30, and that was a lot. It was very hot in the polytunnel. In fact, it was Tuesday, and I decided to do a tomato tour in the polytunnel on like the hottest day of the year so far. It was the biggest mistake. It was like 5 o'clock in the evening, so I thought, maybe it will have cooled down a bit.
So yeah, I would have thought then that 5 o'clock didn't.
Disgusting.
Right.
Disgusting.
Mind you, when I'm FaceTiming Melanie, you know, like each night we'll have like or each morning, should I say, you just like, you can tell the humidity over there is just excruciating. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like 38 degrees heat, and then the humidity on top in Japan, it's like brutal. Do you know what I mean? It's brutal.
The worst humidity I've ever experienced in my life was Singapore. It was like being in the shower at all times. It was awful. Going around the botanic gardens, like me and my niece, who's like of a similar sort of colouring to me and also really hates the hot weather. And we were looking for this, like the ginger garden. They had a collection of ginger there. And I mean, it looked like, all the photos of it looked like we're dying. My sister's absolutely fine. Like, she spent a lot of her time in Spain. She loves the heat. And ours were just like walking around like this, like all the eyeliners melted. It was just like the worst humidity. Was dreadful.
I'm terrible, me though, Jess. I've got this like narrow band Goldilocks zone. If it gets too cold, I'm terrible. My fingers go, the ends of my fingers are cold. But if it's too hot, I'm wobbling. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, what a pathetic bloody human being. Do you know what I mean? First world problems. Too hot, too cold. Anyway, I went up to my polytunnel the other week, or last week, and a few of my tomato plants were just keeled over and dead. But I did this video, which is great. It's a great thing when something does go catastrophic. Instantly, make a good video of this. Make a good me wailing on the thumbnail. It wasn't blight though. Now, I haven't had blight. Do you know what I mean? So I've never had blight on me tomatoes. So when I seen all this like gunky, well not gunky, like every like stem of me tomato plant was this black powdery stuff. I was like, blight. And it wasn't, apparently. It's something called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Has anyone heard of it? Botrytis? Or
Botrytis, yeah.
Yeah. So, by all accounts, if I keep on cutting leaves and mothering them, I should be getting some fruit. I mean, I've had 2 huge baskets of fruit, of like tomatoes, so I'm getting quite a lot, and I know some of the heirloom ones we weren't given many anyways. So, has anyone had? Because I know JB, you were saying you get blight at the end of the season down there. It's a natural thing for you?
Yeah, normally outdoors. I think so. I get botrytis. I think botrytis is quite a general term for like bacterial infections in the garden. Like I get it on some of my apples. Some of the apples get it, and my plums definitely have it. So yeah, it's a serious problem. Honestly, it's a serious problem on the plums. they're not happy. But yeah, I've never seen it on tomatoes. But I think the key thing, the difference between what you've got, Tony, and blight is the speed of it. Because blight is like you turn up one day and you see it, and 3 days later your entire plant is pretty
Everything's
much
gone.
shriveled and gone. So I think the stuff that you've had is moving a lot more slowly, and it's at those points where you've cut the leaves, right? And it's been on there for a little while, sort of slowly spreading.
Yeah. No, that's what I've kind of, like I say, reading in the comments there. It was like, what I've learned is like the speed of blight is horrific. Do you know what I mean? But what has caused like a little bit of a kerfuffle is with blight. I'm not so sure about the botrytis one. What do you do with your plants? Do you compost them or do you not? Now, apparently the BBC website or something says just get rid of them, burn them, bag them, get rid of them. Charlie Dowden is composting them.
Yeah, there's a girl who I follow on Instagram who, I mean, she hasn't been doing it for years, but when I first started Instagram, she has a really small allotment, North London, and she tends to do like a chop and drop on everything on her allotment. So when she cuts stuff down, rather than put it in the compost heap, she just like lays it on top of her soil and it rots down naturally. That's how she does it all. And she's been doing the blighty tomatoes like every year that it's happened, and she grows the tomatoes in the same spot every year, and it doesn't seem to have an effect. Like it doesn't hit her any faster than it hits anybody else. So I think it's fine to just compost it.
It only the tomato blight only lives on living cells. I think that's the thing. So as soon as the plant is dead, that's kind of it. It can't.
Would it not?
Can't stay
It's
in
not
the
going to
soil.
stay in your compost. And
But you know, if you put it in the ground and you're like a no digger, would it not affect the mycel? You know, like what Audrey puts on her roses and things like that. You know, like the underground structure. I'm just curious, to be honest. I'm not
Mycorrhizae?
yeah, I was thinking that. Why would the mice get blight? But yeah.
JB got it. JB knew what I was on about, man. Bloody heat, man. Look at it, man.
Oh my.
Mycorrhizae. What did I say? Mice. I didn't say mice. Mycel. Was I not saying?
You said mycel. Yes, you did.
Right.
Oh, I thought it was
Right.
mice. So
Mice.
Yeah. But I gotta tell you, Tony,
gonna...
it was interesting when you were pretty sure it was blight, and you kept touching the ones with it, and then you'd go over to the other ones and go, "But these are fine." I'm like, dude, wash your hand, do something.
But you know how honestly, I know that it's easy, like hindsight, kids. This is what we used to say. It's easy for someone to sit there and say, "Don't touch them," but when you're in the middle of trying to get them and you're cutting a leaf, you're moving back, it's going
I think
when I was actually cutting
that's
leaves,
you having not. I think that's you having not had blight before, because you learn pretty damn quickly that you don't go transferring hands.
To be honest, Jess, it was like finding out your children smoke. Do you know what I mean? Like, I never get blight. And then you find like your children's got cigarettes in the drawer. My child never smokes. And I'm like, bloody blight. And funny enough, the neighbour has got it as well in the pot, but it's just starting. This, whatever mine is, it's just starting, and you can see it goes in from the tips of the leaves and then goes into the the kind of the stalk, and it's quite a. I mean, I'm hoping like it is a slow burn, because I've still got quite a few. Do you know what I mean? And there's some plants, the Shirley just hasn't got it at all. Now, I don't know if that's just the strain of the plant, but...
Isn't Shirley a blight resistant?
It's a disease. It's really got a lot of disease resistance, and which will include botrytis and all the rest of it.
Right. Because I know I've got Crimson Crush. Now, apparently, I'm just going off what Charlie Dowden was showing on his video. They get blight, but the fruits still are fine, because they're like some sort of blight resistant. So, and they're looking all right, to be honest. The ones outside, and everyone was saying it normally affects outside before it would ever go into a polytunnel or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So, I think I can actually.
Well, it's windborne, like on damp stuff. So if you've got a sheltered spot like the polytunnel, it just protects it that little bit more, doesn't it?
I think, judging by the comments, I can kind of tell when it was the second time I started to cut the top leaves, like the leaves, And it was them times where it was cold, 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 then hot, hot, hot. And I wasn't opening the doors. Do you know what I mean? It was like, it was happening too quick. One day it was like cold, nights cold. Then it was red hot through, and I was just like all mixed up. And I'm sure it was then that probably it snuck in somewhere along the line. The conditions were just like perfect for it. So
It seems very common for tomato botrytis, which apparently is a catch-all name for just grey mold. Nice. It is really common that you get it on those pruning wounds. That's sort of where the spores will land and then start to kind of infect.
I mean,
the plant,
someone actually
and then you get
mentioned,
more
I don't know if you've
spores.
heard of this, someone mentioned that it's the used, I mean, I've used scissors quite often. It's like using a sharp instrument like scissors to cut the stem. You should be snapping the leaves off, because this process of using the scissors to cut them just leaves a solid scar, like a perfect open wound. So
Interesting.
where if it was snapped off, it's got more of a like an edge where it can kind of build up resistance and fight and repair.
I know that makes a huge difference for roots resprouting and stuff, and like if you're trying to snap off the small bay, you know, when a bay tree or whatever grows all its stuff at the bottom, if you rip them off, they don't resprout, whereas if you cut them, they do. But I don't know about it changing the surface. Or do you mean like it would change the surface so that things wouldn't get in? It wouldn't just be like a flat plate for them to land on?
I think so. I mean, this is just like I say, I was going through like all the comments, you know what I mean, which was lovely. You know what I mean? It's just like having like a hive mind there that you can kind of just like an encyclopedia on blight and everything, that video. But someone mentioned that cutting them with the scissors is leaving this open wound where they haven't got any sufficient roughage or surface area to kind of start the repair quick. So I just thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But it's definitely not blight, because like what you just said there, they would have been gone by now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
And they're still there, so it looks like it is this. You know, and to be honest, I'd rather not have it, but out of the two, I'm glad it's that one rather than the other.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? So,
Definitely.
I mean, I've had potato blight. You know what I mean? That's kind of seems to be prevalent on the allotments. You know what I mean? But it's always like the end of the season, and most of the potatoes are kind of picked and gone. But there's always been blight on our allotment. So,
I'm really glad that you had some good harvests first, because we were literally saying just last week how devastating it would be to get full-on blight before your harvests. So,
well, that's what, you know what I mean? I've always said it's like it's lovely to get nice big plants, but you've got to cross that finishing line with them and get the harvest. You know what I mean? So although I was taking, I'm now sucker convinced. Do you know what I mean? I'm praying because I planted me sucker one. My sucker one had a lovely root ball on it. You know what I mean? And it's in there, so it might get affected. The way I was kind of spreading you know what I mean? I was shaking the mold around everywhere. But it had such a little root ball on it, this sucker plant, so we will see. Do you know what I mean? We'll see if... was it Audrey? Was it you, Audrey, that was saying that you'll get tomatoes off suckers? Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
and I can tell a couple of them have really taken root. I put them in water first, then I put them in a pot with soil, and so this week I'll be putting them in the garden, and I'll get fruit. Yep. I could be proven wrong, but I am. I'm about 99.9% sure I'm getting some fruit.
Getting some red fruit, or because it doesn't count as like green fruit, mind you. That's not.
No, it would be edible fruit, like nice edible. Not. I'm trying to make chutney out of all these green tomatoes.
Still dodging it.
Yeah. No, it'll be.
She's confident on the red, Tony.
Yes, I am. I'm confident that I will get a fully ripe tomato, at least one.
Well, I'm hoping.
If not dozens.
I would love it, Jimmy, because
yeah. I mean, seriously, without even trying hard, there's still 2 months growing time for us. Like that's before temperatures even really start to go cold-ish.
This was the one.
At 2 months. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have a tomato.
We had a low temperature overnight the other day of 6 degrees in the polytunnel.
What?
Maybe Friday night, I think. Yeah, it was crazy. I heard that temperatures were kind of dipping. I think it was Ian from Grow Local who mentioned it.
Kind of dipping? That's crazy.
I popped the battery back in my thermometer because I normally take it out after sort of spring, and popped it in the polytunnel, and I could not believe it when I checked. There were like two or three nights where it was dipping well below 10. We've had some really chilly evenings, which is crazy because it's like 30 degrees in the day. Thankfully, everything's fine. I'm trying to get my thermometer up.
What I picked out of that conversation, you take your batteries out of your thermometer and then put them in the following year.
Oh yeah. What I do is I flip it round.
Oh man!
You flip it round so it doesn't discharge. There is nothing worse than like going to use something and realizing, the battery's completely dead. Do it with torches as well. Like if you're going camping, reverse the torches so that they don't discharge over time. I never had you down
as one of them, JB. I didn't.
I
leave all the batteries in there until they're so corroded there's like green froth growing out the side. And you just have to replace the thermometer. Like,
I got it, JB, you are probably the thriftiest human I have ever met.
It's gotta be done.
My idea is we need to buy more batteries, not less. Like,
I'm sure
go to Costco, you get a sleeve like of 50. Right? So everything's fine. Wow.
I'm sure JB's guest goes into certain rooms and switches the light on and there's no light bulb and they've been taken out. They keep them from the living room.
That's why she walks around with like a headlamp on. Right? Yeah. Oh, that is so funny.
I didn't realize that was going to be an admission. I just thought that was sensible. Oh, dear me.
Oh, wow.
Jess, you know what I forgot to do as well? I forgot to show that picture. Where you put a picture in our in our little kind of chat of damage, and I thought I was having a kind of bad week. Do you know what I mean? But you've explained what was going on because it just looked horrific, to be honest.
It did.
Well, it was on. I later put it on Instagram, so if anybody's had a look on there, it was like the lesson of this is never say to whoever you're with at the allotment, "Oh, this bed's looking good." Like that is the absolute kiss of death. It was the bed that we had the pumpkins, so like the winter squash growing in. They just really started to get their like feet in the ground. They were really starting to take off. The chard was looking good, and I'd sown a whole load of Tokyo turnips down the side, and they were all like looking like they looked really, really good. Johanna came up. She gave me an aubergine, so she came up and was like, we're looking at, oh yeah, look at those turnips, And then the next day we came up and the whole lot was trashed, like just nothing. They've been not only that bed was completely trashed. Everything was out. I think probably maybe 2 of the pumpkins might make it, but I think everything else was gone. And they'd also been through the cabbages. They'd unearthed all the bases of the runner beans, that are growing up the arches. They'd just turfed them out. I think they're going to make it. Luckily, we had gone up quite early. Actually, this is in the vlog that's coming out this afternoon. I was talking about it. It's like, just so happened we've been going up like early afternoon the last like week or so. Just it's worked out that way. That day we went up really early because if we had left it, everything would have been dead because of it. It's so hot. The moment something's unearthed, it just fries. But we went up early, so we got a chance. Like some of the stuff's going to be saved. My brassica, my like big brassica bed that was looking really fine. Everything was turfed out of that. It's just really frustrating.
I thought it was just one little bed. Jess, so it sounds like it sounds like
no.
weird.
Over the space of about like 3 days, the brassica bed was completely done over, which is pinned all the way around. So I'm not entirely sure how they managed to get in there. They must have like, literally opened the door to get in, and. Yeah, they turfed everything out of there. Probably half of that's going to survive. but I don't think the pumpkins will survive. You know how like tender they are? They're really, really soft, like those cucurbits.
Yeah.
Being turfed out, and lots like snap stems and stuff like below the leaf points. So I don't think they're going to work, which is annoying. But you know,
are we talking about foxes then?
well, I don't know. I've talking of batteries, I've just put some new batteries in my
cameras are out
wildlife
now
camera.
again. The cameras
Yeah,
out
the
again.
women are. We've been left in peace for ages, and I got lulled, you know, into like full sense. But yes, I'm going to get them out tonight and put them on because they seem to be on the rampage. I don't know whether it's badgers or foxes. Whoever it is, it's worm hunting rather than going for the crops. They're not interested in the crops. So
Right.
normally if they've gone for the crop, you know it's a badger immediately because obviously a fox doesn't eat beetroot. But yeah, at the moment we don't know. Nothing's really ready. So, but although I'm looking after a neighbour's plot at the moment, and she's got the most incredible electric fence around her sweet corn, so I think I'm going to be employing electric fencage.
Right.
Yeah, it's a solar powered one, and it does seem to work really well. So, but oh god, it's so frustrating. I was well excited as well because it was like the first day of August, and I'd got all my August seeds out. You know, I was feeling really smug about the situation. Arrived and it was just like, what is the point? You know that feeling when you just stand there and you're just like looking at all your work like just turfed out on the ground, like.
Because I was going to put electric fence. I was going to say, Jess, if it turned out to be badgers, what would you do? But I guess electric fence would be the ideal thing. Do you know what I mean? Just like
I mean, the thing is that if a badger wants to get in somewhere, there's very little like you can do to stop them. They're like French bulldogs. They're all muscle, like they're massive. If they really, really want in, I think the only thing you can hope to do really is like dissuade them. At the moment, they're just looking for worms. If it is badgers or foxes, it's like just dissuade them. Like there's other people's plots they can go to. Not that that's really the done thing, but you know, like there's other places that they can go rather than kind of targeting something they specifically want. But it's just annoying. It's just really annoying.
Yeah, I know the frustration very well.
Yeah.
I had quite a lot of comments with all my fox and badger damage that I should just fence off the entire plot as if it was a really easy thing to do. But isn't yours like quite fenced?
We are fenced. There's one bit which has come down, but they're not coming in through there. Because I know
That's a suggestion.
Leaving a little trail of excitement, like cut up the beetroot and lead them off. Yeah, we are fenced, but it's not a very high fence. It's about 60 centimetres, 70 centimetres. And I was talking about this with somebody the other day. And interestingly, our fence is constructed like just with short posts and then a run across the top of just a like small wood and then chicken wire underneath. And apparently foxes don't like leaping over things, so they like something that's got a solid top, so they'll jump up onto and then off. And a way of kind of stopping a fox from automatically wanting to jump in there would be to have the chicken wire run higher than the top of the fence so that there's a wobbly top. So I might keep the current structure that I've got and try and kind of make something that's less convenient to get over.
That's exactly what I did with my fox defense.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
On the polytunnel, on your suggestion about having it so it's not too tight and it's super wobbly.
Yeah.
So when they do touch the chicken wire, it sort of badoingadoings, you know?
Yeah,
and
that's
like
exactly that.
puts them off. And that was all fine until I left all the potato pots, which they were able to just use as a little ladder. It serves to illustrate your example perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
Was there anything apart from the veg in your pride, Jesse, damaged? Do you know what I mean? Was there any like physical damage, like?
My spirit was quite damaged.
Oh yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that from you.
No, not really. Like nothing. They hadn't. I mean, I know JB's having a real problem that they've taken a real liking to your polytunnel cover. I mean, touch wood, they haven't gone for that yet.
Brave to say that out loud, Jesse.
Yeah, I know. I'm just having a massive
They're
regret.
listening.
Look, Tony, can you cut that bit out?
They're all listening. All of them.
Just like 30 foxes down in London just went.
Guess what we're doing tonight?
Oh, damn it. But yeah, so no, they just, I really do just think they're out hunting for worms, and they're going specifically for the beds that are like mulched, because the difference in our soil quality between a mulched bed and an unmulched bed is just like outrageous. And I guess that's the same like across the board. But when you move aside the mulch, there's just so many worms under there. If I don't put mulch on, nothing will grow, but there's also no worms. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? Other than, which would be ideal, get about, like a 9-foot, one of those like chainmail fences, and just put it all the way around the outside and across the top. And bury it like about 2 meters down, because that would be a really friendly look, wouldn't it?
Man.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard enough to get the bloody things to germinate, to get out, to get, you know what I mean? And we've got now, I've seen the cabbage whites in all me netted vegetables, all the cabbages, brassicas, they're all in there. And I'm like, do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to like squash them inside a netting. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to be getting the Bacillus thuringiensis out there, the mix out there. So I've got a new little kind of hand.
I've got 2 white butterflies right outside my window here, racing after each other.
Fantastic!
And I'm like, you two, knock it off. There's plenty of you. Stop it.
And it's funny, when I mentioned it a couple of times on my videos, saying there's none here, and then you could see with the comments they were moving up the country. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The kind of, and here they're there now. I mean, they're not in great numbers, but the ones that have laid them early eggs are there, and I guess all the eggs have been laid. Do you know what I mean? So no nibbles yet, but they will come. Me red cabbage, they were all in there. Me kale, a bloody lot. You know what I mean? So Audrey, bring me some good news.
New lettuce is coming up. I also started my fennel and radicchio and turnips, a lot of beets. So life is entering the garden again, even after all these tormented bad stories. I'm looking forward to the fall garden. I'm hoping I'm going to get a lot of the things that didn't do well in the spring garden because of the weirdness. So we shall see.
Has your silly temperature heat gone then, Audrey? Are you on like a slow
for
decline
today
now?
it is.
All right, just
No,
for
for today we're like 20. What was it? 28? No, we're not that high today. Yeah, we are. We're 28.
Right.
So that's warmer than I'd like, but it's not the silly hot of 35, which is where we've been a lot. So I'm hoping as we go in towards the fall, we have a lot of really hot days in August. So, and that's normal. So I don't know what that's going to look like, since everything seems to have skewed up a little bit. So yeah, we're kind of used to a really hot August, but everything's doing
Just
well.
to put another dampener.
What, Tony?
I was going to say, just to put another thing. Has anyone noticed, like, it's getting darker at nights now as well?
Oh, shush.
Oh, you never speak that out loud. Never.
When I'm up, it's like, no, it used to be like light at 3 a.m. It's not now. You know what I mean? I'm noticing it's starting to like.
I don't know.
close
I've
in
seen
there.
3 a.m. a lot, and it's not light out.
But it is cutting in on a nighttime. I'm certainly, I've noticed that. Do you know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, you never speak that out loud. That's like saying Beetlejuice. You just don't do it.
You quietly witness it and just pretend it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Or you quietly mourn in your heart that, oh yeah, here we go. But you never
Mine's
see it
yet. I'm
out
just
loud.
looking at it. You've got a lovely. You must have been in your garden because you've got a lovely colour going on there, mind you. So where I'm
Who,
like,
me?
bloody, yes,
I've
pasty
probably got a
bloody
filter
white.
on the screen. I don't. No, it's all the freckles. It's not really a tan. It's just they get so many freckles. They all merge into one.
Yes.
So really, really blotchy, and then it goes, whoop, and then it's all like joined. Yeah. It's like all the pixels just get like that much. And it's back to being a unified color again.
You mean the extreme white that my face looks right now does not look like I've been in the garden?
Anything
yeah.
else? Anything? I'll tell you what I have noticed on mine. I planted some heat-resistant red onion sets. Now, I watched Allotment Diary swears by them for the onion white rot and not. Now, I'm getting nice size, smallish size, tennis ball size onions, but I'm noticing tiny roots.
Tennis ball
I
size.
was thinking that. I was like, that's not a small.
Well,
I don't even sell tennis ball size ones in Waitrose. Come now. Like,
well,
what are we
that might be
talking about?
the wrong. There was certainly a couple that were like a nice size, but the roots, there is hardly any roots on. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking it's there. I'm just pulling them before because
Yeah.
I was trying to weed round and they were just coming up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because normally when you see like a nice big onion, there's a nice, good, healthy, and there's none on my. The onion's fine, but so I'm going to probably pull all of them and like just early. Do you know what I mean? Just at least have some sort of red. You know.
I think that's wise.
I mean, when I've had the white rot previously, I tend not to catch it just in time. But I found the ones that I've thought are okay, they tend not to store. Have you had any experience with trying to?
They don't store.
They don't. They just go immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know what because these are like way better, nicer looking on the bottom than I've ever had for a long time now. So maybe they're
That's
like.
good.
I mean, they wouldn't store anyways. You know what I mean? As soon as you put them in the kind of veg basket, one onion a night. The short you shop go through your little collection. Do you know what I mean? So
My onions are shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Are they?
I pulled a couple this weekend, and like they've actually got really decent root systems on. But I mean, I'm lucky if they're the size of a ping pong ball, let alone a tennis ball. Literally, they're the most pathetic onions I've ever seen this year.
What variety were they?
They were all the Boxing Day ones.
Oh,
so my Boxing Day seed sowings survived right through. They've gone into the ground.
Wow.
Shocking. Absolutely no growth whatsoever. They've just sat there and not grown. I don't know why. Don't know what. But yeah, I can't remember the varieties.
7 months of growth. That's crazy.
They've done nothing whatsoever.
Wow.
Honestly.
because I was gonna say, JB, these might be late ones. You might have sown them late, but no, you sowed them.
No, they're not even like they're not dropping off. Like they're not flopping over. They don't look done. Like they're ready to harvest. They've just sat there doing absolutely sod all. Really strange.
Wow.
Have you harvested them, or are you just going to keep waiting?
I'm going to keep waiting.
Yeah.
I pulled one yesterday. It was like surprisingly healthy roots. Like it's tiny little ping pong ball with a nice healthy root system. Very strange. So I was
Maybe they're just waiting. Maybe they're.
I don't know.
But what
I've given them. I
waiting for?
fertilized them. I've given them seaweed feed. Nothing. So, but until they properly flop over, I'm just gonna leave them, just in case. You never know.
It's
Very
funny
strange.
how I've got like tiny little roots, but giant size onions.
Well, they've done their thing and then probably died off. I
I'm
think.
joking, JB. I'm just like, they like to rub it in, giant size onions. Well, I know Ian was saying from Growing Local that he's getting in the Japanese ones. Now I'm going to do them ones as well, because that's like you can kind of sow them. I don't know, what is it, like early September, and I'm going to try and miss that when the disease pops up again. So hopefully, again, I don't mind the small onion. Do you know what I mean? So,
How's everyone's tomato ripening progress? Has anyone else had ripe tomatoes yet? I've had one. I've still only had one ripe tomato. I'm looking at you, Jesse and Audrey.
I've had 5 cherry tomatoes.
That's still not loads, then.
I know, but my plants are loaded. Everything just happens to be green. So I think we're going to have a hard and fast harvest when it comes because they are loaded.
Yeah,
So-
I've got. I've had nothing red yet, but the plants that are in the polytunnel are looking they're looking healthier than plants that I've had for years. They're looking really, really good, and they're covered in tomatoes. Only like just beginning, but like it's starting. I can feel it. We just need to continue this weather. I know we're supposed to have quite a few storms coming in August, but I'm hoping that the heat's going to stay.
Did you hear the name of this new hurricane?
No,
Hurricane Debbie. Doesn't that sound really
it doesn't
threatening?
sound that menacing. No,
I know. I thought,
No.
who named the storm Debbie? Oh my goodness.
somebody who's got like a really terrifying mother-in-law called Debbie or
I
something.
I was what? So it's a nice hurricane. Okay.
I mean, when you think if we were left to our own devices to try and survive by growing, I would have gone years ago of starvation. Do you know what I mean?
I said that exact thing in a video I recorded on the weekend, filling up those onions. I did some carrot harvest too, just pathetic. I was so excited about the carrots because they germinated. I was like, yes, they've actually germinated 2 lines of carrots. Like this big. Just all on top.
But really, if we had to grow to survive, I have a feeling our gardens would be very productive.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be, after work, I'm going to go check it.
I suppose.
I think we're out there every day, making sure and the foxes, we're building.
I would have that 9-foot
exactly. We're going to
prison
put chainmail
exercise
up,
yard
and,
look going on.
no one's
Definitely.
coming into my garden. Thank you.
Was it not that what caused the Irish potato famine or blight? Was it not that wiped it all out? You know what I mean? So
I can't remember whether it was blight or not, but
I thought it was.
I thought it was a political thing, but we don't.
Yeah,
need
I
to
think
prove
it
that.
might be a bit more political.
But yeah,
It's
I
like,
think
oh, am I
it's
going to
not-
say?
I know, but I kind of think it was a little political there, so I'm not sure it was blight.
I thought it was.
it
like
was a blight on.
There you go. There you go.
I thought it was a disease, kind of wiped out the famine.
Well, maybe it was an intentional disease, perhaps, that wiped it out.
I
But
think
anyway,
I think it was blight. It apparently wiped out a third, but I think the reason for famine and food not
being
getting
quite
to
so
the Irish
catastrophic.
people was
Yeah.
probably more political.
yeah.
See, Marion, who's over in Ireland, thank you, Marion. Yes, it was blight. These bloody Americans tell me what I want with me bloody history. For God's sake,
The
woman.
blight, though, the blight.
You're
like,
not Irish. You're not Irish, Tony. Come on,
No,
I'm as Irish
Marion
as you
is.
are.
Marion.
it's funny though, Tony, that you get blight on your potatoes and you don't on your tomatoes.
I mean, I haven't had it for a
That
couple of
seems-
years.
It's the same thing. Like it
Oh, I
seems
know,
really
yes, yeah.
seems so odd.
I've only
But
just.
I remember
kind of-
we've only got it on our potatoes once, like touch wood, because it comes so much earlier. I mean, like we've got our potatoes out of the ground really before the tomatoes are in. But when you see that spread across like a whole bed of potatoes, sorry, it's like you can almost see it spreading. It's so fast. I would have taken, just
Now,
devastating.
have you ever had blight on eggplant? It's the same
Right.
family.
Yeah.
Or peppers don't get it either, do they?
There is a pepper one, but I don't think it's the same.
Okay.
It's much-
It's just interesting that some are
Yeah.
taking, some are getting
Mind you,
it, some aren't.
Audrey, there was a couple of the branches on my aubergines are fine. They've been given off fruit and I've snipped off, but there's been a couple of branches that's got like a powder on them. Do you know, like a dead branch here and a dead branch there? So I don't know. Maybe that what I've got in my tunnel has gone to the aubergines as well. Do you know what I mean? Not as nowhere near as like horrific as the tomatoes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're a kind of hard wooden plant. Do you know what I mean? They're a brutal little thing, mind you. The spike is every
Jason
time I
said
go near
he's
them.
had some on chilies. He said blight on chilies.
Right,
Interesting.
right. I have been getting like a lot of green fly on me chilies. Certain plants, but
Yeah, they love it. I've got like a white fly on my cucumbers, but I don't know if it's the same white fly that you get on brassicas, but they've only just started showing up. Has anyone else ever had that? Like, I keep finding when I go to harvest a cucumber, you get a little cloud of white flies, and it's that sort of thing where you start to go, is this something I need to be worried about? Is this a
Is this the
concern?
beginning of a horrific infestation?
Yeah.
was it last year, JB? You got, was it red spider mite or something on chili?
God. I touch
red
wood.
spider mite.
I am so lucky that has not come back this year, like, because apparently the red spider mite really easy to overwinter in a greenhouse. It's nice and cozy and dry for them over winter. So I've been looking with a fine-tooth comb, at the polytunnel in the greenhouse that had it before. No sign of red spider mite. I kept it really moist in there early in the year as well, because apparently they don't love the humidity. Maybe it's been quite a humid year, quite a wet spring. That kind of damped down their population, but so far so good, no sign. And I have been feeling very, very lucky. I'm counting my blessings on that one, because red spider mite. Bad.
Did you disinfect your greenhouse? Because that's what a few people's been saying to me about this fungal infection I've got. That sounds as if I've got some sort of fungal infection. But like blitz the polytunnel through the winter. Do you know what I mean? So
it's really tricky, because something like a red spider mite, they're basically microscopic. You can get, I think the best way to deal with something like that is probably like one of those gas bombs that you get, where you have to shut everything in the greenhouse. There's some herbal stuff as well. I think you get like garlic-based bombs.
It's never worked.
Yeah.
I've never found them to work. But humidity is the only thing I've ever found to get rid of red spider mite. I just looked up your white fly. Apparently it's quite common on it's called the greenhouse white fly, and it goes for cucumbers and tomatoes and a couple of other bits and pieces. But yeah, apparently they're quite a thing.
Can they become a problem?
I guess anything can become a problem.
Okay, one to keep an eye on.
But it doesn't say that. Oh my goodness.
Run to the hills.
Sorry, I'm just reading
You're
as we
keeping
go.
me really on suspense here, Jesse.
It says they're closely related to mealybugs and scale, rather than like proper whitefly. But they do have wings and can fly, and they have the same effect. Like they fly off when you touch the plant. But it's not It's not the same whitefly that you get on, when you touch your Cavalier Nero, and it's just like
Yeah. Okay, that's good. It doesn't sound too serious.
No, it doesn't.
Red spider mite are like cut off anything infected and get rid of it. Red spider mite.
What do they do? I can't remember, JB. Do they just sap all the goodness out of the plant? Like?
They're sap suckers, but it's way more aggressive damage than aphids. Aphids are sap suckers, and they'll start to curl your leaves. And you've just got a lot more time with aphids to kind of like get on top of the population. There's a lot of predators of aphids, the hoverflies and the ladybirds and the wasps will come in and do their thing. Whereas red spider mite, the damage that they do to leaves, way, way, way more serious. And once they really get out of control, they will damage your plant much, much faster than it can grow new growth. So the plant really goes into shock and just dies off. And they don't have many natural predators that occur in the same way as other pests. So there are some that you can buy. That's kind of what I had my eye on. If it turned out that they were in the greenhouse again this year, I was planning on getting in some I think think they're like beetles or something like that eat them.
Right.
That you can buy in, like Biological Control. Had that like bookmarked, ready to go. But thankfully, it's not come to that. But
how much? I know you kind of do. You would go that way, but devil's advocate, JB, would you not just reach for a bottle of like bug spray? Would that not?
Does it? They're so microscopic and they can breed so quickly that it's not really. There's not even really like general insecticides that you can use that will be very effective. Last year when I had them and I was trying to sort of nip the problem in the bud, I used SP Invigorator, which is sort of a mixture of like plant boosting stuff, but it is also a pesticide and quite a strong one. The first time I'd used that because I was just like, just in case I want to get rid of them, but they were definitely still around. And there's someone in the Chili Chump Discord this year had them really bad on their chili peppers. And they were sort of sending in some pictures like, what's happening? Why are my chili peppers dying? And we were like, oh God, send us a macro photo up close on the leaf and you can see the tiny little webbing and you can kind of...
But that's part of the problem with them, isn't it? Is because it just looks like dust.
Yes.
Like when it first starts, because I have them every year. I've touched a lot of wood today.
It's worn out, that cupboard.
Moving on. I forgot what I was going to say. That's funny. Spider mite. That was it. Yeah, I've got always had spider mite. Like I have it permanently. I've never had it to the extent that you did, JB. That time. I mean, I always get it on cucumbers and aubergines. But yeah, it's just like a dust, and it's almost like if you can't see it, if you just touch the leaves, you can feel it. It's like gritty. But I've not. I've never had it that bad. The only thing I've ever found is the humidity. Like
I let it get out of control because I didn't even know it was happening. You know, I thought because it was sort of starting at the bottom of the cucumbers and working its way up. I just thought it was the leaves getting old. Yeah.
It doesn't look like a bug, does it? It just looks like weird stuff.
I thought it was just natural dieback, but no.
JB, how much is that to buy the bugs? Like the good bugs?
It's like 30 quid or something. 20, 30 quid. You get a little matchbox sized thing that you let go. I don't know how many. There might be one beetle in there. There might be 100. I don't know. I was going to do it, whatever it took.
I'm vegetarian. I'm in the wrong box. You know what I mean? Not me. I just seen David was saying he's had to spray BT on his peppers because he thinks like a cabbage white got trapped in there. So caterpillars on chilies. I've never heard of that. Or peppers. Peppers.
I don't think cabbage white would eat chili peppers, but there are definitely quite a few things that do. I've had a lot of my sweet peppers this year have got holes that look like they're from a caterpillar or a butterfly kind of nibbling them, but I don't think it is because I can't find any other caterpillars. And it might just be an inquisitive slug that's eaten like a little bit of the chili. But once you've got like a big bell pepper and it's got a hole in it, you don't know what's going to be inside. Like
you do know what's going to be inside it.
Yeah. I cut into a few of them and they were fine, but it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous and it damages them and they start to kind of rot off a bit. It's a bit strange.
Yeah. Last year I had a lot of problems with holes in peppers. I don't think I got a whole pepper last year. Like every single one of them had, even the really quite hot chilies. Not that I got a lot of them, but they were all bitten.
Wow, right?
It's never happened to me before. I don't know what it was that was eating them. They're growing in the greenhouse this year, totally different conditions, but that was in the polytunnel. All had these little bites out of them, and like you say, once they're bitten, like they go soft and a bit weird around the outside. So unless I had a particularly spicy, life-loving slug or something living in there.
You've had one that's just took a bite. Went, don't go there. Don't go there. I've took one bite and I'm leaving it. It is too hot. Man, I've never known for hot chilies. You know what I mean? Like bugs to kind of...
I know. Like often you get your sweet peppers bitten.
Yeah.
But last year loads of them with little.
My chilies are normally fine. I've had another pest that's been attacking my chilies this year, which is a really weird one. Is leaf cutter bees. You can see they've got like a very very
They're
specific
wonderful, aren't
shape, but you don't really mind it. Yeah, it's quite nice to see.
Stamp edges on your,
Yeah.
on your leaves.
Going away and building their nest somewhere. But
So
that's
because
quite a cool one to see.
I've had that JB on like an ornamental shrub outside. You know, there's like that scissor. You know, it's like a school art project. You know what I mean? Right round every leaf, there kind of, and it does look quite. Ooh, you know what I mean? So you've had that on chili plants as well.
Yeah, there's one of my Korean chili pepper seems to be their favorite. They love it. So it's doing okay. It's growing faster than they're stripping the leaves. So
any red chilies yet? Any good chilies or?
yeah, the I'm getting a load of the Beaver Dam are coming through, which is really, really nice, really mild. They're mild for me anyway, right? I put some on Jess's plate the other day and told her they were mild. She wasn't amused with me.
Oh,
She's like, my lips have swollen up. That's not mild. They're like 1,000 Scoville. I honestly, I can get no heat from them whatsoever. But maybe my taste buds are just shot. But they're really nice, sort of long pointed, quite sweet. A tiny bit of spice, but yeah, there's quite a few red chilies coming through for me now.
Are there like a jalapeno where you could stuff them, or are there a thin?
Yeah, they're massive. They're more like like a small Ramiro. You know, they're like
lovely.
this kind of. They're really good. Beaver Dam.
What were they called?
Beaver Dam.
Beaver Dam.
A strange name for a chili. I'm not sure what the history is there.
I feel like I've got some Beaver Dam seed.
They won from the chili chump seed kit.
I think they were one of the ones that, never got past the seed leaf stage this year. I'll try them again next year. They sound fantastic.
Well,
they sound like a very nice hot pepper.
Peppers and chilies.
Well, it's been like I'm blessed with these jalapenos because when I was doing the show with Audrey says I didn't realize like jalapenos are one of the first to kind of get to a nice big size where you could pick them. So I've even left, you were saying, JB, the red ones. So I've got a mixture of green and red. I picked all the red ones now, but they're lovely. You know what I mean? I thoroughly enjoyed kind of this recipe and stuffing them in the oven and coming out that kind of, like a restaurant like it's like not soggy, but like kind of like a smooth, crunchier taste out of the oven. Hey, I was chuffed a bit with them. That's the worst description. Smooth, scrunchy.
I know.
Nice, sludgy.
I was going to say
peppers.
I was going to say flaccid, but I think that was even probably worse description. Like, coming in your mouth. You know what I mean? So, anything? Have we got anything else? Have we got? We're on top of the hour. Liddy's gone.
I think I'm gonna harvest my first eggplant aubergines tomorrow.
Woo!
So Baba Ganoush right here.
Baba Ganoush.
Right
that
here.
is very exciting.
Nice.
Johanna gave me an aubergine plant the other day, and it really put mine to shame. Like mine they're just starting to come good. I mean, they're not like yours, Audrey. Like they don't have aubergines on them, but the plants themselves are just like starting to really kind of beef up. And Johanna came up, she's like, "Oh, I've got an aubergine plant for you. It's like as tall as me." I was like.
Wow.
We're gonna get some fruit off of this. Yeah,
not quite the same, but yeah.
So that'll be fun to make that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that.
Keep that recipe, Audrey. Keep that recipe.
I will. It's a good one.
Well, listen. I think we're done and dusted for another. We're ready for the week now. God, we're all gung ho about gardening, or just terribly upset. We're good at that, aren't we? Just knocking the stuffing out of everybody. You know what I mean? JB,
August is about that time, isn't it? Where
it's highs and lows, isn't it?
Yeah, you just got it. And August is usually that hump month. It's like a Wednesday, right? You gotta get past it. Yeah.
JB, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at Naturally JB on YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon.
There he is.
Thank you. Yeah. Jess, where can we find you?
Plot 37. Jessie at Plot 37 on YouTube and plot37.com and Patreon and I think that's Instagram as well.
Yep. Got to help her along there. You know what I mean?
Too many places.
Audrey, where can we find you?
Real Food Comes Dirty, YouTube, Instagram, and .com.
.com. There you go. Well, everybody, thank you, everyone that's in the live chat. It's lovely to have you here, there, keeping an eye on us. JB, Jess, Audrey, look after yourselves. Take good care.
Bye. Have a good week.